Hello, my name is Justin Ratner, and I'm here to talk to you about human rights. Human rights dictate which rights every human being is guaranteed and is born with the privilege of. This is the case in many countries, but the one in particular that I would like to talk to you about is Brazil. Over the past few decades, Brazil has basically fallen into anarchy. Their military leaders rose up and started a rebellion and a military dictatorship that ruled for 21 years. During this time, Article 5 of the Declaration of Human Rights was broken and ignored more than any other right. Currently, there is a thriving democracy, but there will never be a time when the torture will be completely dispelled. On December 10, 2014, the current president of Brazil, Dilma Rousseff, came out with an accusation that the former military leaders of the Brazilian dictatorship executed tortures carried out by the military dictatorship. It detailed beatings, electric shocks, sexual violations, and psychological torture on people that the state saw as a threat. Part of the effort as of 2014 is a governmental force named the Truth Commission. The Truth Commission is tasked with the job of finding out what happened during the Brazilian dictatorship and finding those lost during its chaos. The Truth Commission's detailed report stated that 434 people who have disappeared or have been killed over the past years, including former presidents and military leaders, have been victims of the military dictatorship. These people are Brazilian citizens who were taken away from their homes and land, people who were tortured and killed even though it is a clear violation of Article 5 of the Declaration of Human Rights. This particular human right abuse and torture happened during the Brazilian dictatorship from 1964 to 1985. However, the government never officially recognized the mass amount of disappearances and deaths until 2007. This means that for 43 years, people's right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, their unalienable rights, have been taken away from them with no actions in attempt to counteract this until 40 years later. Now that you know the history of the problem and what has occurred in attempts to curb these issues, I would like to express a few of my ideas that would change the Brazilian government for the better. One of the major reasons that this crime against Article 5 of the Declaration of Human Rights even happened was due to the fact that the crime was committed by the members of the Brazilian military, meaning that the government, following the laws, had no control as they had a majority of their military force ripped away from them and joined the opposition. This same situation has not been seen in other countries because when groups of people decide to declare power through violating a human right, the government uses military or governmental force to stop the outbreak. So, to address this issue, I would create a governmental system of checks and balances that would allow for one person to not be in complete control of the military, and if a portion of the military was to be corrupted, another portion would be there to fight against the rebellion. This idea would work because the rebellion would then always be outnumbered by the government, and if corrupt military leaders attempted to flee, the rest of the military would stop the outbreak. Another recommendation that I would make to the Brazilian government would simply be to keep their military commanders happy and reliable. If the people who broke apart from the government to form the military dictatorship had never been in charge, this never would have happened. Therefore, a way to stop this would be to keep the military commanders in check and make sure that they are mentally sound and equipped to be in command. I believe that if Brazil implemented my recommendations, not only would Brazil no longer be a country in which people are being tortured and executed, but it would be a country in which nothing like that would ever happen again. Eventually, with the root of the problem fixed and a fully functioning government and military, Brazil would be able to fight off the military dictatorship's remains and make sure that those responsible are sent to jail. This would secure Brazil's freedom from themselves and lifetimes to come, and set them on their way to being a perfectly healthy country.